Hello and welcome to Ranked Rambles, episode 10. Lost Caverns of Ixalan is out, and so we are saying goodbye to the Beanstalk deck. I've decided after 10 episodes of playing this deck, I'm going to change it up and try out some new cards. Specifically, I wanted to just do one more video with this to close it out, give my opinions on how I felt the deck performed. And I decided I'll be switching it up. So next week we'll have a new deck list. I believe it's going to involve the new Amelia Benazeres combo. Because that was originally going to be a going for gold, but it turned out it's actually pretty damn good. So our first match here we have against Rainbow Cake is our Mono Black list. Mono Black Devotion, sorry. But for the purposes of today, I'm going to talk about how this deck feels and what would I do differently, what would I take with it. Now, it's not the optimal deck list for Niv-Mizzet Reborn. The optimal deck list you can find on Goldfish and other sites, where it's basically built around with having Omnath as a secondary engine to keep going and gain insane value from that. Those lists are highly efficient. If you look on YouTube, there's some very good content around Pioneer Niv-Mizzet. Explorer is a bit of a different beast. This is where we get more experimentation. But in all seriousness, I do think this ranks pretty highly in terms of Niv-Mizzet decks. Leveraging Niv-Mizzet, Yorion, and the Leyline Bindings as additional draw engines through the use of the Beanstalk is really strong and really positive. I would not recommend taking it to, well, I would recommend trying it online if you really enjoy this variation. It's pretty close to the fully optimized list, so you could very easily change it if you wanted to. I think that's the beauty of the way I like this deck, is that while I am just playing the same Niv shell over and over again, there's enough variety and difference in it that I can keep playing it. It's one of the reasons why I have so many versions of this for Commander. But all in all, I would say this is a solid 4-star Niv-Mizzet deck. It is not the S tier optimal. It is better than an average deck, and it's definitely better than some of the crazy brews I've tried in the past. Just giving my piece on it here. For the sake of honesty, like I say, I always include. I record in one big session and put all the matches in. So as you can see here, we're doing pretty well against Mono Black Devotion. We are struggling to find and resolve any threats, but we do have a Colossus that is going to grind them down to oblivion. I am holding back on this Vanishing Verse because I want to keep the Devotion down if I can. They scare me here by making 8 mana, but they don't do anything truly with it. So we're going to Vanishing Verse the life-gaining creature. Eat our own graveyard to keep dinging them down. Like I said, ultimately, our goal is just to get them down and keep them down. Pick up a Leyline Binding here. I keep that for one reason. They can draw from Phyrexian Arena, and if they cast a Grey Merchant, I'm going to throw it down and just take off some Devotion to just try and buy us some time. Now our opponent, though, has to either gain a ton of life or take out all our creatures, because we have 8 damage on the board here, so they need to gain 5 life or kill both our creatures. They do Beseech the Mirror for 4 here. They do bargain it. So it looks like they're finding something to cast. I was quite scared this would be a, well, there's a Meat of Massacre. I was quite scared this would be an Invoke Despair, but sadly it looks like they don't have anything here. They make a ton of mana here, which scares me, thinking that their final card must be a Grey Merchant. However, they just pass, they have nothing to do, so we can finish them off here. Yep, we'll take them out. Good showing for the final deck. So, Fortsies is definitely, well, I don't know. I think we just run it back with the deck that we have here. Now, I remember what happened here, actually. This opponent, if I remember, timed out after a bad draw, which is always frustrating in ranked, but one of the reasons why I say this is ranked rambles is it's literally just an accurate representation of ranked. So I don't cut. If I get really bad matchups or really screwed, I keep them in. The only reason I would change is if I had like 4 matches of the same thing. And I will disclose when I record, when I play. But yes, these were just 4 matches back to back, and we did get some good variety here. Our opponent plays a second land and just starts timing now. I'm assuming this is just bad things on their side. Nothing too crazy. So while they do their timeout here and nothing's going to change, we'll just have a little fort. For those who don't know, the combo I'm talking about that I'm going to start building on next turn is the Amelia Venezuela. She's a 2-drop vampire from the new Ixalan set. She has the ability of, whenever you gain life, explore. And then if her strength is 20, you blow up every other creature. Interesting fact, she obviously goes infinite with Wild Growth Walker, a creature that states whenever you explore, you gain free life. Now on spoiler season, I completely dismissed this as unusable in a Niv deck because I was like, well, I'm going to have to trigger and explore with her to go off. Now, if you've been listening, the first line of her text is, if you gain life. Funny thing about that, you know what deck I have that really gains life that I've played a ton of on this channel? My Niv-Mizzet Learn deck. Do you know how many multicolored gain life incidental spells there are? Well, we saw one earlier with the Cosmic Rebirth. That can reanimate a 2-drop, return it to the battlefield, and gain free life to start the combo. There's the mini lightning helix from Innistrad Moon. There's Ojutai's Command, which can reanimate a creature, counter a spell, gain life. It's craziness. So I look forward to seeing some brews around that. Second match here, we're against Iton. I keep my hand here because I have all 5 colours. I don't know why, but I have been cursed recently with not finding land drops for some of the decks I've been playing. Opponent appears to be an all-white deck, so I'm thinking this must be mono-white humans, which has made a real resurgence recently. It appears, particularly in ranked, there's just a lot of people grinding out aggro decks to just try and take it down. Opponent taking their sweet time here. This actually works out great for us, so they can play a card, and we were going to go for Clarion into Edgar, but the top deck of a Fable of the Mirrorbreaker works great for us, so Fable comes down. Seeing this Fox Samurai, I'm wondering if this is actually an intro deck, and they're just literally grinding out their dailies. You know, mad respect to them, because I mean, I respect anyone who's just doing it. But, you know, we've all been there. But I'm very suspicious that they're in the ranked queue grinding them out. Right, so I'm going to discard one of my basics to just try and draw a different card. I'm going to get Edgar down here. He's a solid threat that's hard for them to answer. They have to have specific exile effects to get rid of him. We'll attack in with this. Now, seeing this variety of tokens makes me think this could be some kind of Boros Convoke build. So I'm more than happy to trade for 2 of their tokens there. Opponent is taking their time. Plays a random Bishop Soldier and a Vampire Epicure. Me checking that Samurai to make sure it wasn't a vampire, because I thought maybe this is vampires, but I'm just confused. So we can flip our Saga here. We can play our Steam Vents tapped because we don't have to pay life because we have the treasure for Niv. Reload. And we might as well just throw down the Mizzet, get a reload while we're on. And we get a whiff. A good way to go out with this deck. We get a terrible whiff. I was thinking of Edgar trying to bait them to multiple block here, but they instead just give their bishop indestructible and let him swing in. They play another tap land. They have a long consider here, man. It didn't feel this long. Oh, they play Guru Gun, Disciple of Ruseo. We find a up the Beanstalk, so let's fire that out. Beanstalk, you've been very impressive. We've really enjoyed you here. There's a Clarion here, so we'll just Clarion here. We lose our reflections, but we do keep both our creatures. We'll swing in for 10 and gain 10 life. Our opponent plays a X spell that creates rats. I was not aware that it existed. We swing in, putting our opponent down to 4, crack a Fabled Passage. We'll get a red here. We'll Growth Spiral, play another land, put Yorion into hand here. So even if we do lose our board here, we can have something going on. Our opponent's Sun falls, which I didn't realize was exile. So make a 5/5 incubate token. We can Yorion blink our up the beanstalk, showing off the great synergy that has in this deck. They transform their 5/5. They have to kill Yorion here. They throw out an Emperor, which is weird because that would have saved their life. Now I don't know if they're baiting me to block here. Oh right, yeah, this is what I was wondering. Is this just some like random like AI program? Because it felt like I was fighting Sparky here, because it was making good moves but not optimal moves, and I don't think a platinum level player would, unless they've never played these cards before. It just, that Emperor move really confused me, because they could have saved their life there, but they went for a very confusing play. This hand is a little bit risky, but we do have a Leyline Binding. Opponent plays Johnny's Welcome to another land. We now have a Leyline Binding for 1, which is always good. Union of the Third Path, they draw a card. I think this might just genuinely be like an intro deck that they were just grinding out dailies with. We'll get a Fable on the Mirror Breaker down. They play an Urabrask's Forge. Sacrifice it, getting rid of that. I'm going to discard one of our extra Niv-Mizzets here because we do have a way to bring him back. I'm going to Leyline Binding the Forge because this card is going to just keep making bigger and bigger tokens. They're already on 26, wow, that's crazy. Opponent plays a Vigilant Samurai that I'm unfamiliar with. We flip our Fable, play a land. We'll throw down a Niv here, let's get Redemption. That's a slightly okay Niv. So, we swing in with the Goblin. They don't block, so I'm thinking they must have a board wipe here, but we can use the treasure here to save Niv with our Tyrant Scorn trick we've used before. So we'll burn our treasure, bounce Niv back to our hand, deny them a 4/4 so they only get a 3/3, but we also get another Niv activation for later if we want it. So let's throw down a Wandering Mind here. We'll take a Molten Collapse because it can kill a token, but I decided to leave it for now. I want to try and trigger a Descend. Opponent gets 4 life off a 4 Devil Token Maker. This deck is just confusing me, so I'm going to exile the Ajani so they don't gain any more life. Up the Beanstalk, draw a card. Swing in with Wandering Mind to save time, and then Reward Wipe. We're going to take 4 off these Devils, but I'd rather take 4 than 4 pings if we have to board wipe later. They flip their token. Again, they play out their Emperor. They know we have a Niv in hand. It could be held back to buy them some time. Like, the +1 damage for that doesn't really change their clock. Well, we Molten Collapse, take out the Emperor. And it's time to just reload our Niv here. Draw from our Beanstalk. This is a good reload. Right, cosmetic change I'm going to rant about because I just remembered it there. So, Wizards has now changed with the most recent update the OK button to under the Niv animation. So literally, you can't click it until after the Niv animation is finished. Oh, we do get hit with a Royal Spot and lose Niv. We'll play a tap land, play a Fable. We'll Vanishing Verse this creature, just keep the board clear. Get a Colossus down to start gaining some life, / doing then some damage. Never a bad thing. They play an Indestructible Commander, so I'm going to block here because this creature has the ability that if you hit your opponent, it gains Indestructible counter, then you can lose an intro volcano if you do damage to them. So we'll just board wipe, get rid of that, and then we'll pass. We're going to get back a Wandering Mind with the Cosmic Rebuff here. Pick up another Fable of the Mirror Breaker, because why not? Draw a card. Draw another Wandering Mind, so we'll just keep exiling the graveyard. We now have Reflections online. Play a Fable. Swing in, put him down to 19. If we can activate Reflections next turn, we're just going to be set. So they play a Skyblessed Samurai. They've got more than enough mana here I'm not concerned about, so we'll Assassin's Trophy that. So we have a clear swing through. Clofis is on 5 Devotion, so my plan here was to get her up to 7, to get her in for an attack. So we'll bring back another Wandering Mind. Grab another Fable of the Mirror Breaker. We'll get rid of Devil's Playground, and we won't cycle, we've got a good hand. So play a Beanstalk. Activate our Restless Spire, copy our Wandering Mind to gain another card in our hand, get a Growth Spiral, swing in for a metric, I believe the term is a metric shit ton, putting them down to 3, so they are dead. So the worst thing that could happen here would be them rip a Sunfall off the top, which would kill our Clofis and slow us down a bit. But the slow play here makes me think they haven't got that. Right, this was the final play that made me think, right? They used a kill spell on an indestructible creature because it was the biggest creature. That seems like a Sparky move to me. Like, I genuinely think this guy might have been testing out an AI play magic software thing. Like, I don't know how that works, but, you know, that's what that final move... It was either that or it was a real flex power play at the end that really confused me. Right. Time to get steamrolled here, ladies and gentlemen. This is where our luck finished. So, we run into our good old friend Mono Red. And I forgot that Eidolon of the Great Revel is online. Here's where I make my biggest misplay of this game. I decide that I think to myself, if I just let them ding themselves a few times here, they'll be in equally bad condition as me. So what I should have done here now is use the Leyline Binding to get rid of the Eidolon of the Great Revel. But I thought I would be okay just holding back, playing a Fable, and having like blockers. But they drew really damn good. So they have a Venus Shino, puts me down to 10. They have a Lightning Strike, so it's perfectly to get rid of my blocker. And then I'm just going to die to the activation of the next card. Pretty much the same thing happens next game. We get screwed by lands and mana base. So we'll just pass it here, because it's been a while since I got stomped this hard by Mono Red. That's why I'm looking forward to playing a life gain deck next week. Bring in for Shiz, it doesn't matter. This match was a get away from us terrible. I think it only lasts like 2 minutes at high speed. So, aside from that though, I've been testing with Rivals of Ixalan so far. I've had some fun, definitely in Commander, with some of the cards that have not blown me away too much. One that's actually very interesting, that I'll definitely do a build around, because everyone knows I'm a fan of this character, is Saheeli. She has really impressed me here. I'll go into more detail when that comes up here. But all in all, it's been a fun little experiment. These 10 weeks with the Beanstalk deck have definitely been really fun, and as I said, it's a 4-star deck, and I'm definitely going to keep it saved in my deck list to play again in the future, maybe update. I think it might actually, if I'm honest, become my Yorion variation, because like I've said before, when Omnath was first put into the deck here, with the Niv-Mizzet strategy, I was fully on board with it and pretty much used it myself. However, I've noticed over time that it's even at the point now I'm pretty sure the MTG Goldfish page literally just has Omnath to Light as a 4-color deck that people are playing more than the 5-color Niv-Mizzet piles, because there's less restriction on multicolored. It's kind of like the Atraxa problem, where the deck is more optimal to just play the best of. And our final deck here, we go up against Esper Rat. And this deck, not too much happens, we just get steamrolled again. It was a very rough session here, but this deck is what inspired me to actually put the combo deck of the Amelia, whatever her name is, the Vampire and the Wildgrowth Walker into a main Niv-Mizzet list, because I was thinking about this. I was thinking about the optimal build of the Rat deck, which is actually this one here, which is, well, this is 4 color, because you see there they have the Esker's Chariot. And the real strength of decks like this, particular mid-range decks, are ones that could kill you out of nowhere, but also have a secure late game. That's why they started running the Chariot. What's the Chariot's name? The Chariot that makes 2. I literally just said it. You know the Chariot I'm talking about. The thing is with the Chariot is, and the Sky Sovereign, it provides you with an alternative. It's not an all-in combo deck like Storm, where one hate card is going to hurt you out. Like, see here, I'm getting dunked on by a Rafine Rona combo here, but I'm also terrified that out of nowhere they could just drop the Rat and kill me. But I've lost enough ground here that I've got to just take my chance and go for it. So that's what ultimately I'm going to go for with building the deck. I'm going to build a Niv Learn base / mid-range deck that has the potential to make a one-shot kill out of nowhere. Like, it's not a definitive you're going to be dead, because you can kill the creature before she does damage. And it's not the optimal list for the combo. I believe that would be an Abzan Soul Sisters list. Soul Sisters was one of my first modern decks, man. I got flashbacks of how much fun I used to have playing that deck. Now, the key thing to remember with a lot of these decks is you got to assess how good the combo pieces are. As I said before, when I said how in Commander, Saheeli and Felidar Guardian are the go-to the go-to cards for the combo there, because you can literally just use Saheeli to copy other triggers and Felidar Guardian to blink other triggers. Now, it's not quite that good, because Wildgrowth Walker is not synergistic in any way with a pure Niv deck. But a 1 free body is nothing to scoff at against aggro decks, and with enough synergies to bring it back, it's also not something to maybe consider there. The real thing you got to consider as well is like how Beanstalk adds to every CMC5 card, like Niv-Mizzet, flip your top 10 cards but also draw a card. Amelia Benaceris will add to the deck. Whenever you gain life, explore. So, like, for example, Cram Sessions is gain 4 life, learn, explore. And if you pull off the combo, even if, let's say, we hit the full thing, Amelia, we do it sorcery speed, then we have to wait a turn, but they draw a board wipe and they kill Amelia. We've gained, incidentally, like 60 life. We've surveilled until we find a relevant creature on top of our deck. Yeah, so basically that's what the combo says. The combo says, make a 20/20, gain 60 life, surveil 15, or surveil to your next threat. That's a late game combo, but also against certain decks, you could just go off on turn like 3, I think, 4. I'm trying to think. Turn 3 is the optimal list with the deck, but with the build that we have, it would be a turn 4 kill. So you need, so you got to have one of the creatures down. And then another creature, and then trigger a life gain. So trigger a gain life or the thing like that. Honestly, I think that there's a lot to be said for that. I think it might become a mainstay. I'm really excited to try and pioneer where we have Bring to Light. And yeah, I'm going to continue with Bring to Light until we actually try and find something here. Well, I'm going to continue my mission to get Bring to Light onto this swear-wording client of ours here. But man, it would be fun to have that. So, goodbye for now for the Up the Beanstalk. I'm trying to think of how to say this. The Up the Beanstalk Yorion version of Niv. You had a good run in 10. You had probably one of the best runs I've had playing ranked in a while. Definitely set a very high bar for ranked rambles in the future. And we'll see you in a future video, maybe a best of. But we're definitely for now going to jump forward and see what comes in the future. Please enjoy the rest of this match. Hope you enjoyed this ranked ramble.